Oh, no green line. Let's see what we got. We have Empire of the Vampire. Empire of the Vampire. J. Kristoff. This is Empire of the Vampire. I'll show you proof. Okay, there's the inside cover. Beautiful book on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. What happened to Empire of the Vampire, you may ask? Well, got chewy dogs, and those chewy dogs chewed up my book. Starting this today. I really dig the art in this 734 page book. This is a chonkin' papa, but I'm excited to read it. I don't know a whole lot about it. I read Interview with the Vampire with Anne Rice, and I slogged through that puppy. I liked parts of it, and it was grueling and rough and brutal and dark and but golly, man. I don't know if you guys are the same way, and I'm sorry to go off on a down a rabbit trail, but I have a lot of books that I bought from McKay's, and so some of these books are older print. I think this one's a 2001. This is the 2001 print. So yeah, there's something about old font that it completely sucks the will to read out of me. And these newer books, these reprints and stuff like that, God, just such a nicer font. And the font for this thing is just, I love it. We're going to read this book. It's probably going to take me about a week, depending on how fast I fly through it. Let's get with it.
Welcome to the shadows.
Hi. This looks like something Ben Templesmith would do. I think that's his name. Ben Templesmith did Wormwood, Gentleman Corpse, I believe. Really cool artwork, wild color work and all that stuff. I'm excited about this book. I don't know a lot about it. I'm not crazy about vampires. I don't know, I'd mentioned that I read Anne Rice Interview with the Vampire. It was okay, man. I just got tired of hearing about Louisiana. Let's read this baby, and I'll keep you updated. So, we're on page 27. We're learning about this Gabriel guy. I like him. I like the writing. You know, it took me a little bit. I'm a little bit slower. It's a new writing. I'm not used to it, and so once I get the hang of it, you'll see me using my pen. It's like the best way I can read, because my eyes don't staccato all over the place. It's different, but it's similar in the chronicling of this dude's life as to Louis from Interview with the Vampire. And I'm not saying it's like a direct ripoff or anything, but in my opinion, it's better. I'm sorry. I just struggled through Interview with the Vampire. It was a slog for me, man. But I am liking this one much better. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in this dude's life, and I'm following along on the map. When he mentions something on the map, I can actually find it on the map. It's fun. I'm kind of piecing things together. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. So far, so good. Let's get back to it. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, and I'm feeling good. Hey, what's up? Good morning. Oh, man. I made it to page 57 yesterday. I know that does not sound like far. Man, I'm interested in this Gabriel guy, dude. I think he's cool. I like his story. I mean, it's a pretty rough story. It's sad and heavy and really, there's a part in there at the, you know, pretty close to the beginning where him and this girl are running around. Woo-wee. I'm like, okay, drink up. But yeah, that's good. I don't know a whole lot. He's with the gray hand guy now, and I can't remember the other dude's name. So far, I'm really liking the book. I just didn't have a whole lot of time to read yesterday. It was very busy at work, and so hopefully today it'll slow down, but if not, it's whatever. I'll read over the weekend. I love these vampires a lot more than these twitard vampires and hot bodies walking around. Pretty messed up so far. We can only go up from here, as far as I know. We'll update. Have a beautiful day.
We have made it 28% through this book, page 207. It's really great. J. Kristoff's ability to allegorically include Christianity, like Catholic symbolism, and just put a spin on all that. Whoa. I'm impressed. I'm deeply impressed with his ability to craft this unique spin on Christianity. I've never seen anything like it. It's truly masterful writing, in my opinion. And I have no idea whether or not he is a Christian. I am a believer. I'm a Christian. I believe Jesus who he says he is. There is no convincing me otherwise. And the dude knows he's done his homework. It's impressive, man. I don't even know how else to put it. I'm having a wonderful time with this book so far. We follow Gabriel as a child going through the Silver Saint training, and learning about the Silver Saints is awesome. You know, he gets him a horse, he gets a blade, you know, a sword. He's learning chemistry with all these things, all the tools that he needs that is going to equip him to be a cold-blood hunter, vampire hunter. We get a snippet of him as an adult in another event. They're in search of the Grail, which I'm assuming is like the Holy Grail. It's a holy artifact, and so they're trying to get a hold of this holy artifact and use it to fight Fabian Voss, who is basically waging war on the whole, I don't know if this is a world map or like a region map. Fabian Voss is just going through and converting and killing and rampaging. He's got kids, and them kids be nasty. And so we get to meet one of them, maybe two. I'm not exactly sure if the second nasty. is one of his kids. Very well could be. The way he does vampires in this book is so different than what I've ever read. Now, I am an uneducated fool of a man. I haven't done a lot of reading. I've never read vampires like this before. I've read some vampires before. Nothing like this. Interesting kind of hierarchy between fledglings and high lords, and there's 4 bloodlines. Those 4 bloodlines basically give you super strength, the ability to communicate and make animals do what you want. There's one that it's the same thing with humans. You can kind of manipulate the mind of a human. And then the other one is, I don't remember what the other one is. We find out something so sad about Gabriel, and I don't know if it changes, but we find out that he is what's called a frail blood, where the bloodline is so weakened over time from his biological father that you don't have any like trace amounts of any of the 4. So we don't know what he is. I hope we find out, but I also hope we kind of don't, because it really gives him that underdog, edge. It gives you somebody to root for. All these other vampires that, he goes to school with, and some of them that he ends up probably having to fight, they all have this pure bloodline, and poor old Gabriel, frail blood. And it just makes you like him more, even though there are moments where he is just a real not nice dude. But I love him. I'm so intrigued by him, dude. He's got like a chip on his shoulder, and rightly so. I mean, dude's had a hard life, and I feel bad for him. But I'm not the one that wrote him. I'm taking it with Jay. So good. Such a good character, man. Loaded with flaws. Him and his relationship with God is complicated. Superb writing. I can't wait to read more, and I'm going to go do that now. It is Tuesday, the 22nd. Boy, what a wild ride. A lot has happened since we last spoke. We need to talk about Kevin. And by Kevin, I mean Gabriel. And this dude, he's a rough guy. We're kind of bouncing around between the present day, his childhood, and then him like in his 20s or so. It's really good. It's complicated. There's something that I'm struggling with because the language is peppered with hints of French. It slows me down a little bit. It's not something that I guess I could really be irritated with. I feel like it definitely immerses you into this world. The world building is just crazy. This is some of the best world building I've experienced in a book so far, and you can really tell the amount of time and effort it must have taken to create a world such as this world. There's so many elements of this world that come together that creates this unique, dark, brutal world. And there are parts where I'm reading this and I'm just like, my heart is heavy. I'm just like, are we gonna get a break? I need somebody to fart rainbows or something. I mean, I need some joy in some of these people, especially poor Gabriel. I'm still rooting for the man. I will say that what I thought was the Holy Grail definitely didn't turn out to be the Holy Grail. And this is where we kind of take a hard left turn, like the Catholic symbolism. You'll see. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll talk about it in spoiler talk. But still, like this whole, the religious system that Jay was able to build, it's so interesting and sometimes hits close to home and sometimes like is so far away from home. It's like, okay, this is a unique thing. We meet this kid with one of Gabriel's childhood friends when he was in the monastery, and her name is Chloe. And Chloe, so sweet, and her faith hasn't been shaken. She's on the search to end Day's death. Now, Day's death is this event that happened when Gabriel was a child. The sun was darkened. There was like a haze or something. There was some kind of like, I guess, natural event, perhaps like a mystical event. Something major happened, and it caused this darkening of the daytime. And because of this event, this is how we started seeing the rapid spread of vampires and the different bloodlines of these vampires. And on the front of your map, if you have the book, it tells you what those bloodlines are, the big 4. You have Blood Divok or Divok, Blood Voss, Blood Ilon, and Blood Chastain. Those are the 4 main bloodlines. And then you find out after an event happens when Gabriel's first in the monastery after his first couple run-ins with some of the cold bloods, you find out that there could be potentially a 5th bloodline that is not really talked about much. I'm not going to give it away, but very cool. And I really hope we can go back to that and explore that. I've not seen any hint of it since we've bounced back to his adulthood when he's retelling the story of him helping Chloe. Where I'm at now is they are on their way, I believe, to try and stop Voss, but they need to resupply and all this other stuff, and they're trying to end Day's death. It's heavy. I'm looking forward to traveling back. I don't know what it is. I like seeing his childhood and seeing him just grow into this man he is today, and seeing how his friends change, and the way we ended the last time when he was a little kid. He had mentioned that this will be the last time that him and these other men will be on a vampire hunt. So I know something happens. I don't know if it happens to all of them and Gabriel makes it out alive, or just one of the people of the party ends up dying there. And so we leave on a major cliffhanger, and I've been trying to fervently read and get myself back there because I do like the storyline with Chloe and her group on their way to try to take out Fabian Voss and try to end Day's death. But I'm for whatever reason, I'm more drawn to his childhood. I like it there. There's so many elements of discovery that are within his childhood that more interesting to me than some of the things that they're doing as an adult. I'm just gonna have to shut up and go read it and just finish this thing. After 9 straight days of reading this at work, reading this at home, and just kind of marinating in what I'm reading, I have officially decided that I am done reading this book at almost like the 500-page mark. I can't read any more of this. It has nothing to do with the plot. It's got nothing to do with the world building. It's got nothing to do with the prose. It is specifically Gabriel de Leon. I really liked Gabriel in the beginning. We were just young punk kid, got a chip on her shoulder, rough life, rough start of a childhood, rough upbringing. Totally understand, justifiable, understand why he is the way he is, but he never grows out of this. You know, in his adulthood, we'll say adulthood, he is constantly got something smart alecky to say. It doesn't matter. He's always the biggest, baddest boy in the room. You know, he's always got to be the hero. I really loved him at first. I was super pumped. I liked his character. I mean, we started off strong with 5 stars in the beginning of the book. And as we just go on, I'm just like, this dude literally treats everybody like garbage, even his friends. And I'm just like, I can't. It started just kind of chipping away, watching his interaction with his friend Chloe and his interaction with Chloe's group, and they're going to try to find the Grail, and I'm just like, this dude, who is this way? And if this person is this way in real life, which I'm sure there must be a small circle of people in that person's life, because people like that, impossible to be around. There are so many elements about this book that would normally warrant it a 5-star book. But I'm telling you, when your main character, one single character, the only one you follow, is impossible to deal with, there's only so long you can go. There's only so long I can go with just hearing this hateful person and being around this person. Like, there's no character growth. It's after this. There's some, not like any wholesome stuff. The whole smoking blood thing, really cool idea. I love that idea. The Grail idea, I'm not going to give it away, insanely wild. I just didn't personally, on a personal level, I didn't appreciate the long drawn out backhandedness towards Christianity. Jay, the dude knows his Bible. I know he has to, because there are things that he mentions in there that only somebody who has studied, at least some. I guess my take is, if you're going to write a spin-off about something, the only way you can really truly write a good spin-off on something is to have knowledge about that something. And Jay Kristoff has knowledge about Christianity. I did my best to kind of like turn a blind eye, but after going through it, like, you're following this guy that hates God, and obviously this isn't the God, we serve, Christians serve. It isn't far from the idea that he has written, like the religion that he's written in this. It's very, very similar to Christianity, to a point where you are like, when he says something negative about God, it feels like he's trying to use Gabriel to flip the fathers to the father. And whatever, man, you know, if that's your whole take on it, then cool. But I've got nothing personal against it. I'm just not going to read the damn thing. Everything about this book should scream perfection. But Gabriel de Leon, sour person. I don't like being around toxic people. I don't know about you. If you like being around toxic people, you know, good on you. But after a while, it just wears you down. And I just slowly got worn down. That's all. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't like vampires, man. I hate them. I've read a few books from them, and I just can't get into them. There's something about them that I don't like. I don't like the idea of them. The new age vampires, the old vampires, it just doesn't interest me. On top of that, everything about vampires nowadays has to be sexual. I get it. They're supposed to be alluring and all this other stuff. But like, when you have sex in movies, sex on TV, sex on music, sex in books, it's everywhere, and I don't really particularly like reading about it. I read books to escape the things that annoy me, and this book doesn't really have a lot of sex in it, but man, it's just kind of like, it's vampires, you know it's gonna happen. It always does. And so I'm not some kind of prude or anything. I just don't want to read about it, man. Gabriel just needs to grow up and get rid of his chip on his shoulder. I don't know. Maybe he does, you know, past the 500 page mark. I'm not going to stick around and find out. I hope he does. And no shade on anybody that likes this book. I really want people to enjoy what they read, especially when they spend time on what they read. There's so many things to like about this book, but if you can't get me to stay with your main character, I'm gone. I'm sorry. Jay doesn't need any help from me to make his book huge. His book is already huge. He's got a major fan base, and good on him. I'm truly happy for him, and I hope he finds peace. and I'm sure he has. I do want to read. Now, if he wrote about werewolves, I might read about werewolves. Gabriel killed this series for me slowly over time. So this gets a 2-star. The only thing that was great about this book is the world building, and the plot was really interesting with Fabian Voss and with the Silver Saints. Like, that's such a unique, interesting world. I don't know. Gabriel killed it. Your protagonist killed your story. So I'm not going to read it anymore. Thanks.